the difference between like normal sex and like sex like an orgasm with like a prostate involvement is probably the difference between like snorting a drug and like injecting a drug. You know what I mean? Like, and when I say that to junkies, they're always like, that makes a lot. It's like you get like the rush and like you get the high, like it's fucking.
I'm on Team Bush.
So
I'm like, that. I'm old school Team Bush. I think it's great. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Pranzata Podcast. This is your host, Andrea Pranzatelli. This is episode number 99 of the Pranzata Podcast series on YouTube. We have another guest today. This is the third return of Sean McCracken. He is a beloved guest on this podcast. For those who did not see his two previous episodes, just to introduce who he is, he has one of my favorite comedy podcasts out there. It's called The HUNK. He is a horticulturist, which I just found out recently. He and I have a history of saying racial remarks towards each other's white heritages. We've fat shamed each other. He told me I had a fupa. We have a long, interesting history. So I normally ask a lot of serious questions on the podcast, but this one is going to be interesting. I threw in some... if you're easily offended, do not listen to this podcast. But if you're open to hear what we talk about today, this is the podcast for you. All right, so let's get right into it. My first question is actually pretty light. It's not that crazy. What is a major red flag for you when you're dating? Like, what's something that you're like, I don't care how hot she is, I don't care how wealthy she is, can't do this?
Probably like a swastika tattoo. You know, like that would probably be the first, like that would probably be like, no matter how hot she is, that would be like, no matter how, that's like
would you still sleep with her even with the swastika tattoo and then dump her the next day?
How hot is she? Like, is she like, you know, dream girl?
Yeah,
sleep with her. Never tell anybody about it.
Don't tell anybody about it. Anything else besides the swastika?
Any guy that says he wouldn't is a lot like lying to you.
I actually don't believe that. Well, I mean, I'm thinking from a women's perspective, but I don't think women are that swooned by hots, because if I was with like a hot guy that had a swastika tattoo, I'd be like, nah, like this guy's an asshole.
Yeah, but that's like, you know,
that's what women do.
I said any guy. Yeah, like you have standards. No, so like...
What about personality stuff?
Real quick, though, real quick anecdote. I actually ended up on a date with a girl who, like, I showed up and she had a bunch of, like QAnon stuff, like, where we go. She had, like, on the back of her car. And, like, I totally would have still slept with her, but, like, during the dinner, I was just, like, so... curious as to how somebody could be so dumb. You know what I mean? Like, I was like,
that's a red flag for friends for me, because I had one friend who, not going to say too much about her just for the sake of her privacy, but long story short, really intelligent person, gorgeous woman, talented, but she was like hard into the QAnon, and it kind of made me crazy, because I was like, you're so smart and talented, like how could and it was interesting, because she was like so gorgeous that it was almost like a Disney princess that was a QAnoner. It was like such a wild juxtaposition of a human being, and I actually stayed friends with her.
Number? I'll drop
it in the DMs. But yeah, no, that's a red flag for me as like a friend too. But what else though?
Serious answer, because I know you want a serious answer for this one, is no friend. Like if a chick has no friends, that's like the biggest, like, that's my biggest red flag. Because I'm like,
what if she has mostly guy friends? Because I feel like I fall in that category.
That's still fun. I'm saying like no friends of her own. Like,
gotcha.
I've run across that, and that is always like, because that means that it's all going to be on me.
Gotcha.
Also, it means like she's not great at like interpersonal relationships.
So it's like a sign that it might not work for you too.
That's like the worst sign to me. Like, I'm like, why don't people want to? Because I have like so many friends, like people that I would consider friends. Like,
yeah, no, I see. I get that. I feel like I might be a red flag to people because I have a lot of male friends, but that's really an extension of like the work I do. Like I work in music and it's very male dominated. I work in comedy, very male dominated. I do have female friends, but a lot of them live far away from me now. So it's like I keep in touch with them like on the phone or like virtually and stuff like that. So
yeah, I don't see that as a problem. I mean, that's like, if I'm like gonna date somebody, if I'm just fucking somebody, I don't care either way. But like, if I'm dating somebody, like, I don't care if they're fucking other people. But if I'm gonna date somebody, like, I wouldn't date somebody that I thought would do something, like, you know, like would do something with one of her guy friends behind my, you know, like I just wouldn't date somebody like that.
Yeah.
And even if they did, like, that's on them, not me. Like,
yeah. All right. Next question for you. And I actually want a serious answer to this. Like, I want you to really think about this and give me the best answer you could. It's a would you rather situation.
All right.
Would you rather have sex with 30 very unattractive women with foul body odor, smelly vaginas, or suck the cock of one really handsome guy?
What if I told you that I've done both? There's got to be at least 30 of them that were like brutal. And I'd say one of the dudes that I've been with was, you know, he was a looker. So,
okay. I guess that changes it then.
So I've done both, but I would rather fuck the 30 women. I mean, like,
you'd rather. Okay, I'll say it again. You either have sex with 30 very unattractive women that repulse you, or suck the dick of one really like hot guy.
Here's my thing when it comes to women is that there's like a certain angle on every woman that you can hit it. Like, you know, like every woman.
Yeah, but body odor. You can't. How could you get around body odor?
Catch COVID? I don't like. What?
I was actually thinking the same thing. I'm like, in COVID, nobody knows anything. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. There have been a couple, like, I've stopped talking to a couple women because I love going down on women, and like, if it tastes bad, I just can't. Like, this cannot be a relationship.
Yeah, is there such thing as a bad day? Like, it tastes bad on a bad day because she didn't like have time to, or can you tell the difference between like someone who's having a bad day versus like that's their natural like?
Well, people are saying now like the term is the ick, right? So
I've heard that before.
If it's like my first time and I've never had any other experience, if it's just bad timing or whatever, that's good. It's never going to happen again, because I'm also always going to think of that.
If it's the first time, that's also a red flag too, because it's like you didn't even take the time to like wash it for me or like do anything for me.
Exactly. It's just brutal. It's
what does
brutal.
a bad?
Maybe I would suck the one dick.
Wait, just from a guy's perspective, just because I don't know what I can't. I'm not flexible enough to taste my own vagina. So from a male perspective, what does a bad, like, can you describe what a bad vagina tastes like?
Just fingers, no?
Oh, that's true. I feel like it's still not going to do it justice though. Like, you got to get in there. But like, what, from a guy's perspective, what does a bad vagina taste like?
You know, the old saying is, if it tastes like fish, it's a tasty dish. And if it tastes like alone, leave it alone. But I'd say like the ones that I don't like I like a vagina, you know, like I don't like, I like it when it tastes like, sometimes it just tastes like like just nothing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it tastes like some dank, like it's like some dank pussy.
I wonder, I like, low key on a serious note, I wonder if that's related to like diet and health too.
It is. Yeah, it's like pH levels. There's all types of factors in it. I dated one girl. She had like a special body wash for like pH or something. I was like, this is a lot.
Yeah. Huh.
But hers was fine because of that problem. Yeah. But like, there's like that where it like really tastes like a pussy, like straight up, and like. And then there's the ones that I don't like, they taste like kind of like ammonia.
Ew. You know,
they got like almost like a urine, like not like urine, but like more pungent than urine. It tastes worse than urine.
Yeah.
Urine on steroids.
I have to say, as far as semen goes, I feel like across the board, semen just tastes like semen. Like I've never tasted semen that really tasted much different from a
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I've had pretty like, I mean, I produce a lot of it when I do, like an exorbitant amount, but I feel like it's just normal. Like, it's not like it. Actually, my semen's gotten probably better tasting the older I've got. Like when I was a kid, it was like fucking thick and like yellow and like all fucking. It was dank.
Wait, why?
I was just coming. I probably had a high count back before drugs and alcohol. 'Cause it was just like it was different ropes when I was a younger man. Like it hit different. It smelled great. It smelled pungent. Like it was like it's like it's. I think I have normal semen now, which is nice.
Did you ever taste your own semen?
Yeah, I've definitely tasted my own semen.
Really? I'm hearing more and more guys. I'm hearing like more. Sorry, I feel like we're interrupting each other because there's probably like a slight delay because of Zoom.
Oh, you're fine.
So apologies to you and to all the people listening if I'm coming across like incredibly rude. I think there's like a very slight delay.
Pretty mindful.
But I'm hearing more and more men admit that they gave a little taste.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing something for so long, you get curious, Plus, I've tasted it on accident too, like just like in the heat of the moment. Again, like growing up, drugs and alcohol, you're like not paying attention where you're coming, and then you're like going down on shit because you're good. Like that's like a move of mine is like to like finish and then like oral finish, like fuck the completion, oral, and then by the time I'm done giving oral again, like go again. You know what I mean?
So you have moves, like you put a lot of thought into this.
Yeah, of course. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, my next question for you. All right, this isn't that weird of a question, but to get to know you on a personal level, what is something strange that you do in private when no one's looking? So, for example, I'll give you my example in case that like inspires any thought. Like I have tics, like I have vocal tics and like tics, but I have like when no one's around, I have like words that I repeat like to myself. Like I'll repeat them over and over. Like one of them's like chicken. I'll be like chicken. Like I'll say that. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
You have like specific noises?
Not like noises I make, but like
specific words. Sorry,
I have like key words that I'll pick.
Key words.
Yeah, and like I recycle through different types of like words. I think it's like an OCD tic or something like that. But it's like under control enough that I don't do it in front of people unless like I'm comfortable with them. Is there anything you do in your private time that like if you would look like a psycho to most people if they saw it behind the scenes?
Oh man, I definitely make faces. Like kind of like you with the words. Like I just like I make faces, I wiggle my ears, like I just like I have like I probably look like a psycho because like when I'm alone and like there's no like if there's like no TV on, if I like get like an ADD moment from like reading, it's because like I'm thinking about a conversation in my head, and like as I'm thinking about the conversation that like before a podcast, I'll be like, he's gonna hit me with this, and then I'm gonna be like, and then I'll start like smiling or like laughing to myself. And if you're just like watching that on camera, I probably look like an absolute psycho. So I was like watching my sister and my parents' dogs recently because they were out doing something, and I just like went over and like watched their dogs, and they have a camera for the dogs, even though that I'm watching them. These people, they're fucking crazy about their dogs.
Yeah.
So I'm over there, I'm helping out, I'm watching the dogs. And I realized like I'm playing like a game on my phone, and I start saying boom, boom. Like I start like talking crazy, like, and then I realize that the camera's there, and I'm like, oh no, what have I've like unleashed like my true self. Like I would never do that if anybody was around. Like I would never like start talking shit to the game on my phone if there were people there. But yeah,
I don't think that's weird at all because I do that stuff all the time. I am like a huge talk to myself type of person. And I think I actually make those faces like in public sometimes too. Like I've been in situations where like I didn't realize I was in my own head in public, and people like thought I was mad at them. Like I've had people like in public be like, hey, what's your problem? And I'd have to explain like, no, it's not you. I'm like mad at somebody in my head. It has nothing to do with you. Like I have no control over those like types of faces and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty good about it in like public, but like if like I'm not in public, I'm like, and I'll just like start making noises like, like I'll do like weird shit when nobody's around.
Yeah, me too.
I'd say like probably the thing that I don't want anybody to ever see when like they're not around, obviously masturbation, but like also like the way that I eat when nobody's around is like a fucking
what do you do?
Just like fucking like mounds of like just like the portions that I take in when nobody, because everybody's like, how do you get so chubby? And I'm like, you should see me eat when I'm alone. Like,
you look slender now though.
I actually stopped like on my I was just on vacation from work for a week. I stopped before I went, I did like a liquid like cleanse, like a body cleanse for like a week. And then I like absolutely disrespected myself on vacation. Like I ate whatever the fuck I wanted, but like within a certain window, almost like intermittent fasting, not really.
Yeah.
I'm just starting to get back into exercise, and I'm starting to get back into not gorging myself all the time. You know, just like smaller portions, eating right, just like nothing crazy, just normal shit. Just being a like, normal person.
I can only see you from here up, but I feel like what I could, unless this is a great angle of you, what I can see,
yeah,
you look like the most slender I've ever seen you.
No, not the case. No.
Oh, it must be a really good camera angle.
Yeah, everything else is just gone to shit. Plus, I'm not wearing my glasses right now, so I
you just look different. Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes that comes out like when I get to know somebody well enough. Like we'll be like out to eat, and I'll just fucking like I'll go crazy. Like there's a picture on one of the Hunk Yard episodes on YouTube, and it's like of me eating a pepperoni roll, like when I'm out to eat with McDonough. And he knows that I get crazy because like we know each other, so I'm like not like being like, oh, like he's gonna judge, you know what I mean? Like I'm like,
he probably does judge you though.
more than anybody, for sure.
I gorge myself too, but I have like a pretty fast metabolism. So I've had guys be like, that's hot. Like, that's hot that you can eat like a fat, like that's hot that you can eat an entire pizza and like still be fit. Like, you know, like I've always had, like don't get me wrong. I work out a lot, but like the working out and the fast metabolism combined, like I could gorge myself. Like I guess I'm lucky that way.
Yeah. I mean, like once you get to a certain point of like, exercise and like fitness being a part of your daily routine, that's just something like you just have a different relationship with food, you know? Like I used to have a different relationship with food, like to where it was like energy, you know?
Yeah.
It was like, and now like just like when I eat food, it makes me tired because I'm fat.
Yeah.
I just saw like one of the best stand-up clips I've ever fucking seen personally. I don't think it was like the funniest joke I've ever seen, but like one of the ones that just hit me the most was Joe DeRosa was like talking about like how he can't get skinny because chicks keep fucking him. I was like, that's like the truest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like if like women just stop fucking me, I can get skinny. Like but I keep like weaseling my way into pussy. Like so just, like I'll never stop. Like and now it's like I'm like in my 30s, so like gotta do it for health. Like that's why I quit smoking. Like
oh, congratulations. How long have you quit for?
8 days. That's what
okay. Yeah, no, I know did you have to do the chant, whatever the hell it's called, chantix?
No, I'm like deathly afraid of that stuff because I have like
I want to go on chantix just to have the weird dreams.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I have like really fucked up dreams. So like, I use the patch. So it's like it's the same thing. Like if you leave it on, it'll fuck your dreams up.
Yeah.
But take it off like an hour and a half before bed and you're good.
Damn, I don't smoke right now. but so I don't really need anything like that. But I legit like want to know what the dreams are like. Like, so maybe I'll ask my doctor for like the patch. Just I want
You don't have to do it through the doctor. You can just go buy the patch.
And the nicotine patch will give you weird dreams.
It'll fuck your shit up. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to use them in detox once because they wouldn't let you smoke in there, and not fun. Because like I was like, oh, I don't have any drugs. Like I need something to get out of myself, so I'll leave the patch on, and then like I'll feel something. Like I'll have like some type of like trip or something like that.
Like what's the dreams like? Like what can you describe it?
Well, I just had like fucked up night terror. Like I already have like bad dreams, like where I'm like getting hurt or hurting people. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
yeah.
So if I have like every woman that's ever spent the night or anything, like anybody who's ever seen me sleep is like, you talk in your sleep, and I'm like, oh, what did I say? And they're like, it's not fun.
Red flag.
You're like cursing at somebody, like I like go, you motherfucker, and like apparently my left eye doesn't close all the way.
Oh dang!
Yeah, I'm a freak when I'm asleep. Apparently, I'm like a nightmare. Like,
see, I don't have nightmares like that. Like, I thought that the Chantix or whatever would give me more vivid dreams, like that I would just wake up and remember them.
That's what I'm saying. It just exacerbates like what you are as a like. Because most of the dreams you dream every night, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like it's like literally what keeps your brain alive, like while you're sleeping. So like you're always going to go into REM sleep if you go through all the cycles of sleep, and you have like a healthy like 7 to 8 hours. You'll hit REM sleep like twice.
Yeah.
Whether you remember it or not depends on whether it has to do with sex or fear, typically.
Yeah.
And whatever's closest to you waking up. So if you wake up during a dream, you'll obviously remember that. But
damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. And you can wake up in that form of sleep for like up to like 5 minutes and not remember it, which is fucked up.
All I know, I do know this, like, and I've heard other people report similar things to me. If you wake up while you're in the middle of like a really deep dream or a really deep sleep, like let's suppose you're in deep like REM sleep, like in a really deep dream or in a really deep sleep, and something wakes you up, like a loud crash or something. Supposedly those are the moments in which you can like experience like some sort of spiritual realm type of thing. Like my dad, and like I actually believe him because he's very practical when it comes to like religion and stuff like that. Like, and I think what cracks me up about it is, so let me explain what it is. My dad, he claimed for the longest time that he would reach a certain point, like what I just explained, where he was in a deep sleep, but like something kind of woke him up sort of thing, that he'd be able to like leave his body. Like he would have like an out of body experience. And he said he could travel like throughout the house, like while he's still sleeping. Like he could like, yeah. And the reason I believe him is because he's not like he doesn't believe in anything. Like he doesn't believe in psychics. He doesn't believe, like he thinks it's all bullshit. And he even said, he's like, I don't like this or want this. He's like, but like it happens. And it's like, so I myself have also had like really weird experiences when I've been like woken up out of like a dream state. I think it's like interesting,
That kind of sounds like whenever I've like fallen asleep in public in my life, like falling asleep like in school, like I would definitely identify with like just being like in like an astral realm where like you're still like cognizant of like where you are in your surroundings and still like able to like move and like act in those situations. Dreams are fucking weird. Which I actually spent a lot of my time on vacation reading the Sandman comics. I don't know if you're familiar with the Netflix show.
No.
But the comics are really good. It's all about like dreams and stuff like that, like the god of dream. So
wait, the Sandman comics, like actual like comic book comics or comedians? Like what do you mean?
Comic books.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I know you're into comics. That's your thing.
Yeah, it's one of my things. Yeah.
Okay, so my guests that are listening to the show, they know that I started putting on trivia on the podcast. So I prepared 5 trivia questions for you.
Cool.
And I want to test you on how well you know women, because you claim to know and understand women. So I'm going to put you to the test and see what you know.
Everything I know is from late 90s and early 2000s R&B. That's how I've learned women.
Okay. Question number 1. What is a hymen?
A hymen?
Yeah.
It's like the protective on the inside that gets broken when you have sex with them.
Does it have a purpose?
To tell if she's a whore or not.
So I actually didn't know what the purpose was either. And I looked it up like before
so you know you bought a true virgin, right?
I guess. So like what's interesting is scientifically they couldn't come up with a reason. So that's probably the closest.
That's it.
But like
that's it.
That like even science and medicine was like, yeah, we don't really know what this is for.
I've solved it. I've cracked the case. They just didn't want to say the truth.
Okay, next question. When the hymen does break, and indeed it does, if you know, where does it go? Is the skin fall out? Like what happens to it after that?
I imagine it goes back to heaven, which is where it was created. But practically, I'm gonna say no. It's like a gate that's open forever, right?
Yes, the gates of heaven.
Like,
yes.
Yeah, it's like the gate to like the fallopian tubes and all. It's like the wall, right?
So you actually know more about women than I do, apparently, because I didn't know this. I was curious about it, and I looked it up. I'm like, wait a second. Like, when you break the hymen, does the skin just like dissolve? Like, where does it go? And apparently, I learned so much about this like today, just looking this up like this morning. Apparently, not everybody's born with one. So sometimes you're just born a whore. Not everybody's born with one. Not everybody's breaks, apparently. Like, apparently you can go your whole life without it breaking.
That's some women where I think that. I'm like,
yeah.
Damn.
Like, and like they come in different shapes. Like, and there's holes in them because like you need to bleed. But no, that's exactly what I read. If you were born with one and it does quote unquote break, which isn't, apparently that's like not even true either. Apparently when it breaks, it doesn't break. It like wears down. But exactly what you said, the skin doesn't just disappear. It's still there.
Yeah.
That's why there's so much shit down there. Like if you like look like really in the vagina, like you really get in there, there's some weird shit in there. And I think that's probably one of the things.
There's a lot of very different ones. I've met chicks who have the G-spot like down instead of up.
Really?
It's like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu when you're eating pussy. I swear. It's like at a certain point you develop, like if you practice like a martial art or like anything in life, like eating pussy, like you just got to take a deep breath and center yourself and just be like, okay, I'm going to hit all the pressure points and see what's doing. You know, I don't want to talk too much about it because I might answer 3 more trivia questions.
I don't think, like side note, I don't think I have a G-spot.
What?
Because I've never found it.
Some women just don't fucking come internally.
I've never, and like, I can't tell you how many guys I've dated that's like, I'll be the one who shows you. And like, not a single guy has ever showed me. I just don't.
I've definitely been the one to find it for some.
No, they've all say it.
Because like, you know what's the fucked up thing is, and what those dudes probably did was they probably tried to go deeper. Every time a woman's ever said that nobody's ever found her G-spot, it's always the most shallow G-spot I've ever fucking met in my life.
I've actually heard that a theory.
For whatever reason. I've
heard a theory that the G-spot is just the other side of the clit. It's just like where the clit is on the other side of the vagina.
I just know it's like got a little texture to it, and like you know when you fucking are stimulating it for sure. The A spot and the C spot, but those might be fucking trivia questions. So.
All right, next trivia question about women. Okay, how many eggs does a woman have her entire life?
Is that not different?
What do you mean?
Isn't it like
on average? It's not like standard, but like on average.
There's like,
I mean, considering like an average, what's that?
Every time there's a period, doesn't that have to do with eggs?
It does.
Yeah, so it's like, fucking, that's a big number. I don't.
Okay, so
you couldn't even do the math on it, like like
take a stab.
We'll do like 13 to like 52 maybe on average. So that's like Fucking, let me pull out my calculator real quick.
Yeah. I want the listeners to think about it too, so they could see they could see if they're correct or not.
Do you have like Jeopardy music queued up, or would you get like 1,872?
Not bad. So apparently, the average woman can, assuming that she lives like a full healthy life of whatever the average age is of like 80, 70, whatever. The average woman creates 300 to 400,000 eggs, but I didn't know this either. Like, I'm learning so much. Apparently, not all those eggs make it, kind of like the sperm, like a lot of them die. Not all those eggs make it. Only 300 to 400 in her lifetime are ones that she actually uses.
I knew there was a number 3 or 4 in there, and that's why I multiplied I did months.
Yeah.
And then I did like 52 minus 13. And then that's as many years as there's like a period going on before menopause.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, so like, that's probably average menopause ages from start to finish.
Yeah.
So I'll multiply that by like 12, get the months going. And then every month I figure there's 3 to 4. So I just did 4. So I multiplied those things.
Yeah, no, I had no idea that women produce that many eggs and they just like die off. I thought like you just got what you got. Like, I had no clue about that.
Oh yeah.
You would have passed this, like, you're passing this quiz better than I would have if I was
I've opened up so many hitchhikers that I just know the female anatomy. Yeah.
Okay, I have 2 more questions. One more anatomy question, and then the last is totally different. So speaking of ovulation, like, what day in the cycle does it normally happen?
What?
So in the menstrual cycle, which is like on average 28 to 32 days, what day in the menstrual cycle does the woman ovulate?
Ovulate?
Yes.
Oh, this is something I've never known. I actually knew a guy who like kept track of this girl's ovulation, like through an app.
This one you should know so you don't knock somebody up.
And listen, I'm vaccinated. I can't make anybody pregnant ever. I keep getting that shot. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Because I love shooting the club up. It's like a major kink of mine. So I'm trying to think of when that freak I knew this kid and he like got this chick pregnant on purpose because he wanted to like he wanted to get somebody pregnant. It was fucking weird. It was
like a manipulative way to do it.
Yeah, like
that's not good.
They just said it around a group of people like it was okay, and we were all like, "What? Like, you fucking weirdo." Yeah,
no, that's like some psychopathic shit because you're essentially
that's an episode of Law and Order SVU.
You're like essentially it should be illegal. Yeah, it should be illegal. You're essentially forcing a person to be a part of your life forever.
I know. Yeah. It's like when women want to keep the baby. It should be illegal.
Yeah, that's
what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, don't fucking try to keep me around. So you said between what days?
What day of the Okay, so I'm going to clue you in. There's the menstrual cycle is on average between 28 to 32 days. There's only roughly 2 days in which the woman could get pregnant.
So on average, like, what are those days?
Yeah, like which day of the cycle?
1 to 32 or 28 or 32?
Yeah.
Okay. Fucking 11 and 12.
You're on point. So the answer is between 11 and 14. So you're on point with the 11.
Because I figured it's before the period, and the period's like on average in the middle, right?
So the period counts as number 1. So period is day 1,
so
and then
like coming back around.
Yes, it's kind of like it's like the moon cycle. It's kind of freaky in that way because the moon cycle is like 28 days, and you can kind of think of ovulation as like the full moon because like you can kind of think of like the zero moon, like where it's not zero because it's there, but like the whatever when you can't see it, you can kind of think of that as like that's the period starting. when it reaches the full moon is like ovulation, and when it goes into like, what is it, waning, when it goes into the waning crescent and back to like you can't see the moon, you can think of that as like past the ovulation period. It's like pretty interesting how that lines up with the moon cycle, you know?
Well, we come from the water, so that kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that has something to do with it. We're scientists. Yeah. We're fucking scientists.
We're morons.
Like, I figured out what the hymen was for. You're figuring this shit out? Like, this is crazy.
I mean, I'm certainly not the only person who's like figured out the moon theory.
If you're listening to this, we are experts, and you should be taking notes.
Okay,
last on the woman's body.
Last question has nothing to do with the woman's menstrual cycle, but it does have to do with something that most women probably know, unless I'm just like making a sexist assumption about women. But what are the names of the 4 main characters in Sex
in the City?
Sex in the City, but not their actual actress, like not them as actual people, they're characters.
Okay, this is the funny part, is because when you said you've never tasted a bad semen, I was thinking of the episode where Samantha tastes the guy's spunk, and she like makes him taste it himself, because she's like, I'll tell you what, I'll keep swallowing your jizz if you taste it yourself. And
did he do it?
Yeah, the guy does it. And he's like, oh. But yeah, so Samantha, Carrie,
yeah,
Miranda, and so Samantha's the slutty one. Carrie's the main character, obviously. Which one's Miranda? Is Miranda the hot one or the redhead?
Miranda, as if she's not hot.
I don't think. I think she's looks like an alien. Except
Miranda,
for when she's pregnant.
Miranda's the redhead. Yeah.
Okay, Miranda's the redhead, and is it Cheryl?
Very close. I'll give you another chance. It's a CH. It's a CH.
She's the hottest one too. This my favorite one, at least.
I like Samantha. I think she's the hottest one.
She's the sluttiest one. Charlotte? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So despite the fact that you didn't know Charlotte, I'm really impressed how much you knew about it. And I would say, you know your shit about women. I would say you probably knew more than I would have known, because I had to look.
Say a Sex and the City reference, but I was like, I don't.
This think is you definitely your reputation is true. You do know women. You're good.
Do you know about the A spot and the C spot?
No, I don't know that. I don't. Okay.
The A spot is like the deeper version of the G spot, and the C spot is actually it's right below the clitoris. It's the pee hole. So it's the small little hole, and that can be sexually stimulated as well.
I do know about the male prostate.
There you go. I've always wanted to do the thing with like the electric rod, like up that, like yeah, that shit would rule. I feel like that's like I always compare like I talk to people, like a lot of people in my life are drug addicts, so they'll get like this reference when I say it to them. Maybe like, at home I'll really break it down for them. So like the difference between like normal sex and like sex like an orgasm with like a prostate involvement is probably the difference between like snorting a drug and like injecting a drug. You know what I mean? And when I say that to junkies, they're always like, that makes a lot. It's like you get like the rush and like you get the high, like it's fucking. It's like it feels like you've never come. Like the first time, it feels like you're like you were backed up and like somebody like snaked your brain. You know what I mean? You're just like, whoa! I didn't know that there was that much involvement, and I didn't know that was in there. I
also feel like a lot of men, straight men in particular, would be like uncomfortable with exploring that too.
I probably would have been, but I started exploring it when I was on heavy amounts of Xanax. So, there was no care in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what I don't like. And I just don't like when a woman like eats my ass, because I don't take care of it. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to take care of it either. So like,
yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't leave like dingle, but like I wipe my ass, I clean my ass. I clean my ass good.
You mean like hair? Is that what you mean?
Hair, yeah. Like I just like I feel bad. I'm like, I'm not doing all.
I gotta be honest, hair doesn't bother me unless it's like needs to be trimmed. But like hair in general doesn't bother me.
I wouldn't ask somebody to do it, but if they were like passionate about it, I wouldn't stop them either. I'd be like, oh well, it's your thing. I won't stop you. Because I've had women like stop me from like eating them out, and they're like, "It's hairy," and I'm like, "What? I love that."
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm on Team Bush. I'm like, I'm old school Team Bush. I think it's great.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like having sex with grown up women. Yeah, I like grabbing it too, and like tasting it after. Like I don't know. I get weird with it.
I used to shave when I was younger, like 19, 20, and then when I was like 20, I just thought it was the thing that everybody had to do. Like, I thought it was just what women did. And then I dated a guy once when I was 22. He was very all natural. Like he asked like, "Hey, don't wear perfume. It's not my thing." He like asked me not to wear makeup, and like same thing. He was like, "Hey, do you mind trying this? Like, don't shave anymore." And I'm like, this is a first. Like, I put in the effort to shave, and this person like literally just straight up said like, "Don't do anything to it."
I've said that to women before. I'll never tell a woman not to wear makeup because women hate that. But
no, but
I will tell a woman like, "Hey, like if you don't like, unless they want, I just say it like, you don't want to. I'm a fan." But,
no, like once I experienced that at 22, I'm like, wait a second. There's a guy who loves this and is willing to do whatever with this. I'm never going back after that because like the other alternative, it's so uncomfortable. Like the hairs like grow back, like and they like cause razor bumps and all kinds of like itching and discomfort. And I'm like, that's terrible. Like, what the hell? Like, I don't want that.
Like if the guy ever demands that you shave, you just call them a pedophile and run away. It's like, please, some kind of fucking chomo, and then like just like kick him in the knee and then run away. Just like kick him in the shin.
I do have a middle ground though. I like to trim and shave like the sides. Like I don't want the sides. Like if you're wearing a bathing suit, I don't want it to like peek out. But
that will fuck me up a bit.
Yeah. The guy I dated at the time like wanted everything. And like now that I'm out of that relationship, I don't do everything, but like I just have a nice like trim way to go,
For some reason, like if I'm going down on a woman and she has like that much hair going on, like the hair on the side of my tongue when I'm doing it is like, all right, I don't know what it is about the side of my tongue, like both sides, but it'll like rub up again, like, and I'll just be down there like thinking about like, oh, this is like tickling, like, oh, what? But yeah, no, I just like I would never go fully bare, but I'm also not letting it grow out for a year. Like,
no,
that would make my penis look terrible. Like,
it would make people.
I feel like if I had like a 12-inch cock, I would let that rock. I'd be like, I'm never shaving. Like they'll never get down that far.
No, exactly. Like no woman's mouth could even get there. I was just thinking right now while we're talking, when I make the thumbnail to this podcast episode, I'm literally going to have like your face next to like a woman's like ovaries or something like this. Yeah, this whole episode has been like about women's like whatever.
Reproductive health. I'm pro-choice. Believe it or not.
Next question. I want an honest answer. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a personal answer from your life story, but just an honest answer from what you've noticed from your male friends. Do most men masturbate to their female friends' social media, like Facebook photos and Instagram photos?
Yeah. I feel like that's a no.
You don't think so?
If one of my friends came to me with that, I'd be like, bro, you are sick.
So I'm just curious because just to clarify, you think it's like gross?
No friend has ever told me that they've done that.
But do you think they do it and just not talk about it?
I've never done it. That is weird. No. If you're a listener to the podcast, don't stop listening. But like, for Christ's sake, don't jerk off to our social media. Just, DM her or something. Shoot your shot.
But I feel like guys probably do that though. You just don't. You're not friends with them.
I'm gonna jerk off to like a female friend. Like I'm just gonna like look up like a porn star that like looks like them.
Yeah.
And then like watch and imagine, watch, imagine. Like I'll never, I could not look at their social media. That's just weird.
Does it give you like, it would give you like stalker vibes type of thing?
Yeah, it's like just use your imagine. Like if we're going with that route, that's like some like old school, like high school level stuff. Like,
Yeah.
and you just need to like, use your imagine. I'm a big fan of using my imagination though. So maybe that's why.
It's funny you say that. I've been switching over to that when it comes to taking care of business. I want to rely, I don't want to use like any pornography or anything anymore. I rely solely on my imagination now. And it's hard to do when you haven't done it before.
Yeah, when you're all like fucked up and like, yeah. I quit porn for like a long time. And like, I watch it like sparing. I have a better relationship with it now than I used to. But I watch it pretty sparingly. But it was so hard. Like I didn't even like I just had to like cold turkey stop jerking off for a while because it was like so impossible until like I got to that point of like, I need to do it. Like, you know what I mean?
I really want like my listeners know I made a video like 6 months ago talking about why I stopped watching porn and like why I think it's bad for society and stuff like that. So if you guys care to see that, like just later when the podcast is over, look up Pranzata, why I stopped watching porn or whatever. But just so I don't get into like a longer conversation about that, I decided to stop watching it for myself because I thought it would be like better for myself and better for society. And yeah, like exactly what you said. At first, when you do it, you're just so used to the other thing that at first, when you start using your imagination, you just start imagining like porn you've watched. Like that's how it starts.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I can't even like remember a lot of like I would try to like harness like sex that I'd had. And I'd be like thinking of porn and like I watched so much porn that it was like it, like overtook like my actual sex life. Like it like had like even like a bigger impact to my subconscious than my actual sex. It's not good.
Low key too. Side note, I started thinking about this because I've been doing a lot of like thinking about AI and like the future of AI. I think that sex is going to slowly become evolved out of the human species. I really think so. I could be getting ahead of myself, but I really maybe not in your lifetime, but I never thought of this, but I do think that pornography is just the beginning of that because it's replacing real intimacy. And you're hearing more and more now about how people aren't really like procreating anymore. People aren't having kids anymore. I really think that like sex robots are the next step after pornography. Like I think pornography is like, we're still fucking, but like let's have a little fun. I feel like the next like generation, like not now necessarily, but maybe like 20 years down the road, it's gonna be like a lot of people are gonna be so hooked to like AI like porn or like virtual reality porn that they're probably not even gonna pursue actual women.
Well, they're already doing that in
I know.
China.
In China.
They got the milking factories.
Really?
They're trying to bolster they had a population decrease and the opposite problem that they had before. And now they're trying to have more kids. So like, but people are having less sex over there because people are having less sex everywhere because porn. Who do you think is paying for porn? Nobody pays. Have you ever paid for porn?
I have before.
How much money in your life?
Not a lot, yeah. But I have.
Yeah. There's not that many people paying that much money for porn. Yeah. So who's paying for it? It's obviously the government.
I don't know if I agree with that. The
government is subsidizing porn. I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I was going to say, I don't know if I agree with the idea that nobody's paying for it. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, of course. People are paying for it. But there's an interesting thought to like, I was just kidding, but
no,
who is, there is a large amount of porn that gets made and nobody's paying for it. I imagine it's just like Nepo baby. Like if I was a Nepo baby and I had a big dick, I would start like a huge porn company and just like have my parents finance it. And then just be like, all right, well, this was not profitable because people lose businesses all the time.
Yeah.
like especially in New York City, like all these fucking tech startups and shit. It's all like little babies with just their parents' money who just like started something.
Yeah.
It's like, why the fuck wouldn't you start a porn operation with that money? Like you're gonna lose the money. Just lose it. Fucking like the best women in the world, like the best fuck in the world. You know?
Yeah, no, but I like going back to what we were saying before. I really do think that like this is the beginning of. I think they're going to they're going to artificially engineer human beings.
Chemically castrate us?
No, not chemically castrate. I just think they're going to be artificially creating human beings, and there's going to be no need for sex anymore. I really think that's.
I hope so. Honestly, I made that face earlier, but like, I think I'm done with sex by 40. To be honest with you.
Really?
I'm just over. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to get married, and I'm sick of like meaningless sex, and I just can't find somebody that I'm like passionate about. Like, it's been years since I've had like really like passionate like sex. Like, I've just had a lot of like meaningless sex, and I'm just so like unless I get married, yeah, I think like 40 is it. I'm just like done.
But I think that's like the whole draw to like procreating is like you just said, getting over that hump of just like hooking up with people and having meaningless sex and finding a person that you actually care enough about to like dedicate a lifetime of that type of intimacy with. I think like that's what creates families. And like I said, because of all the porn that's out there, I feel like that's distracting people from having the desire to even like why would you bother to approach an actual woman in real life if you can get all your needs met instantly online and then be done?
I have more needs than that.
Not you, like not necessarily you personally. I'm talking about more like the younger generation.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like a lot of that, like these kids are fucked. Like these kids are fucked. Like, like I can't imagine like growing up right now and like Andrew Tate being a part of like my algorithm, like as like a young man.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like fuck with like young dudes so hard. Like that's like the algorithm is so irresponsible with people and like what they promote and like what gets promoted. Or maybe it's just like human nature. That's an interesting question. It's like human nature versus the algorithm. Is the algorithm fucked up or is human nature fucked up? And I guess it's human nature because like some people have like I have a beautiful algorithm. Like I don't have like a single thirst trap on like I show people my algorithm with much dignity and it's just like stand-up comedy, emojis, sports. Like
now I'm curious what mine is.
There's not a single thirst trap on my entire fucking algorithm. There's not a single chick in like a fucking thong twerking her ass. Like there's nothing.
I'm curious to see what mine
there's
is.
Not
like
a single,
now that we're
like
going
fucking
there.
like edgelord, like Andrew Tate type guy. There's not like any of that shit.
So can you explain to me? Oh wait, hold on. How do you find your? I don't even know how to find your algorithm. So if we want to see mine's pretty clean. Mine's like I don't know if you could see it, but
Can't
like
really see it. I don't think people could really see mine.
Mine's clean too. I have cat videos, dog videos, stand-up comedians, musicians. Yeah, I don't have any
stuff from The Wire.
David Goggins. Yeah, I don't have any hoes in mine either.
See, I feel like if you keep watching dudes like David Goggins, though, like they'll slip in some Andrew Tate onto your shit.
Okay, so can you explain? Because I've seen a couple like of his clips, but I don't really know much. Explain to me who is Andrew Tate? What's his deal? Why is he so controversial? Like, what's the deal with Andrew Tate?
Why is he so controversial?
I don't know anything about him. He doesn't come in my algorithm.
You know what the funny part is he actually, you know, Tom Segura, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he actually started out on like being like a meme on Tom Segura's podcast. Like
really?
They just found like this weird dude who like talked all this crazy misogynistic shit and they thought it was funny. And people thought it was funny. And then he like took that and like parlayed that into like some weird fucking like he was like a world class kickboxer, like very like good athlete and all that stuff. And then like he just like took his money and like invested it in like all these weird places. And then the Your Mom's House podcast, Tom Segura's podcast with his wife Christina P. They gave it some like attention, and people like their fan base is like very loyal. They'll like latch onto something and turn it into a meme, and it became like an internet wide meme from what I saw. And then he turned into like this like crazy, like he like turned it up a notch. Like if you like listen to like his old stuff, like he was talking about how like men are pussies if they don't drink sparkling water, and like it was all like very like funny type of like weird like he was like, oh, like I'd rather fuck like a man that looks like Kim Kardashian rather than a woman who looks like Hulk Hogan. Like that's less like the stuff that he was saying was just weird, and like you're like, oh, this is just supposed to be funny. Like this guy's definitely joking. And then it turned into something like very not funny. Like he like got like locked up for like sex trafficking in Romania, which he's said that he moved to Romania for the purposes of having like a corrupt government like involved. And then like everything he talks about is like literally grooming women. And you're just like, and then he opened up this thing called Hustlers University, which is just like a pyramid scheme for like douchebags online. It's just like the whole saga is very strange. But so like it's why really is he rooted in like deep misogyny. And
if he was doing sex trafficking, how is he still like an active like YouTuber? Like how
he's not. They kicked him off their platform. He does like streaming off of like Kick and stuff like that. He doesn't do like other people take his clips and like they're like little trailers for
why
him.
Isn't he in jail?
He was locked up. He was facing court. I think he still is facing court. They just like haven't put him out.
Okay,
but him and his brother both were like locked up. I just don't think that they got like convicted or they got indicted. They just didn't get convicted or sentenced yet, I don't think. And they might get off again because he moved to a place where he was like, yeah, I can pay to get out of this, you know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. The guy's insane. But he talks about like the Matrix and the need to break out of it. But like if you start watching like those like inspirational things online, because I follow like a couple like pages on Instagram just to like stay up to date and like talk shit about it on my podcast. Like I follow some of the sites on Instagram and I don't really like watch the videos. I'll just be like, okay, cool. Okay. Like I get the picture because I don't want it showing up on like my actual algorithm. But I follow a couple of the sites just because I'm like, it's pretty funny to watch for somebody like me to like watch it and be like, yeah, that's it. Like, I don't know. It's like the hustler grind set, Sigma male type stuff. It's just, it's very weird. But if you start watching like an actual like inspirational dude like David Goggins, something like that could trigger like that dude. Like they'll like be like, oh, you like inspirational David Goggins? What about inspirational Andrew Tate?
See, and that's like, the thing. I watch a lot of like inspirational toxic male energy stuff. Like I watch like David Goggins, like Joe Rogan. Like I'm like really into that. I'm actually into like the hustle, like call it male if you want, but I'm a female and I do it, so it's just the hustle. I'm into like the work your ass off hustle type stuff. I still haven't gotten Andrew Tate. He hasn't gotten in my algorithm.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. You might have been a prostitute in Romania. You were probably a couple of clicks away from being a prostitute in Romania.
I think I have seen him in my algorithm, but it wasn't him. Like, it wasn't his content. It was, like, people talking shit about him. Like, I've seen stuff like that, but I haven't seen, like, his ideas being promoted to me. I haven't seen that. But
it's probably because you're a woman, and they're like, no shot. Like, like, no way.
I think for a long time, like
there are some women that follow them though. They're fucking nuts.
When the algorithm first started like doing its thing and trying to figure me out, like I would say 2019 is when I like got like really active on social media and stuff like that. I think it thought I was a man at first because probably the type of stuff I watched was like a little manly. Because I remember I started getting ads for like Russian brides. Like I started getting like, oh, you could buy your bride. And I started getting ads for like proposing to a woman. Like it was really strange. Like it took the algorithm a while to figure out I was a woman.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, whatever. All
You're
right.
the first non-binary online.
Actually, I've actually thought about that before. I don't do the whole gender pronoun thing. Like, I just go by woman. But I mean, I guess that is a gender pronoun, so I do it. But if I really had to like break it down,
You go by woman, not she, her.
It's not she.
You go by woman. Hey, woman, over here.
I think, oh yeah, woman isn't a gender pronoun, right? Pronoun is the thing that replaces
somebody. That's aggressive.
Yeah. No, you're right. Pronoun is the thing that replaces the subject.
That is a fun pronoun, actually.
No, woman. But what I was going to say though is like, if I really had to break it down, like if I was doing the like, what's my gender pronoun thing, I feel like I have an abundance of both masculine and feminine energy. Like I feel like I'm like a lot of both, which is like, what's that?
Knowing you to the extent that, I mean, I know you kind of well.
Yeah.
You know somebody if you roast battle them. Yeah, I'd say you're pretty masculine as well as feminine.
It's like, I don't even feel like I'm more one than the other. I feel like I'm like a 50-50 split. Like I'm very feminine in some ways because I'm like emotional and like I get very attached. Like I'm like, I could be like quote unquote needy, I guess you could say, in those types of ways. But I'm also very masculine in the sense that I'm very like, I'm a go-getter and like a tough type of person. So it's like really interesting. It's really interesting to like have both those personalities at the same time.
You're just breaking down stereotypes, you know? Yeah. You're just breaking down barriers.
So I guess if I was doing the gender pronoun thing, I would be like would I be like a she, him? Like would I, he, her, he, him, she, him?
You're like a they, them situation.
Yeah, something like that.
You can do she, her, they. I've seen that and I'm always, that's the only one that like, I'm like, what? I'm like, all right, whatever. Yeah. I see it a lot living in Brooklyn. I'm just like, I don't really care. It upsets a lot of people in the world, I guess, but I'm just like, whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, what? I'm fucking tired from work today. I want to enjoy my life. Like, I don't care what other people. Am I going to put it on my email? Like, you know that I'm a he, him. Look at me.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's just obviously like, but some people it's not that obvious, you know. I've met people up here where I had no idea that they were like assigned a different gender at birth and were like transsexual. And I'm just like, whoa.
Do you think people actually care that much in real life though, or do they just care online? Because I've seen a lot of stuff online. In my entire in-person life, I've only ever met one person that would behave in those ways. That I see a lot of people in person that have different gender pronouns, but I've only once in my entire life see somebody like very actively like correcting other people. That I've only seen that once.
Here's my thing about that is yes and no. So you and I were both, you know, you're from Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Both from like the mid-Atlantic or Northeast America. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't even understand how Donald Trump won the election until I went to Alabama. I went to Alabama for the first time and I looked around and I was like, holy shit. Or even if you go like to like Western Pennsylvania or like fucking Northeast Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
You'll just see shit. You'll be like, whoa, what the fuck? Like,
you're like in a different country in your own country.
It's like I saw a barn in Pennsylvania where Donald Trump had tanks on his feet, like roller skates, and he was like, "There's fucking rockets going off behind him," and it said Trump 2024. And I'm like it's a different world. So like I haven't personally seen a lot of hatred towards like trans or non-binary or gay people or like black. Well, I have seen them like I grew up around a lot of black people and I grew up watching police interact with them. So like, that's one where I'm like, yeah, that's like, I've seen that shit in abundance, you know, in my life, but I haven't seen a lot of like, you know, like outside of just like, you know, like jokes or like, also growing up like in like a poor like community like that's like disenfranchised, like gay people get like shit on there, you know, like I've seen gay get beat up for being gay before. Absolutely. I've seen them be harassed for being gay before. I haven't seen a lot of it with like the trans community because they only just started coming out.
Yeah.
And like my life as it is today, and then in the past like 7 years, has been one of like, you know, like very either like in the suburbs where people are like, you know, like either very separate in their lives, like they're just like living very separately from other people, or they're just overly polite, or they're like educated, or they're liberal. I live in liberal areas, so it's like I'm not going to see that. But if you go to like some places like in like red states, like you walk through there being an obvious trans person and you're like going to hear shit. You might get killed. Like something might happen, like for real to you.
So you're saying like if I didn't see any people heavily into the gender pronoun stuff, it's because I'm like not living in the area where it's present.
It's not that you're not living in an area where it's present. You're just not living in an area where anybody will care about it to the extent like that, like their caring about it will override their politeness, or that they care about it at all. Does that make sense?
Yeah. When you put it that way, New Jersey, despite like the reputation it gets, I feel like it's a pretty calm. I mean, I could be totally wrong about this.
It's a calm racism. Yes.
Like
it's a rather calm racism.
Yeah. I feel like it's a calm area. Like I don't, unless I'm not noticing a lot, but like it's not calm in the sense that there's a lot of traffic. Like there's a lot of traffic and people getting to work, but I don't see like riots. I don't see heavy racism. I don't see much. I don't really see much in New Jersey besides
it's
traffic.
It's a politically neutral place for the most part. It's really just like down to like, it's a selfish place. New Jersey. it's like as long as you don't fuck with my money and my life, like we're good, you know?
The only shit I see is like,
but if you fuck with somebody's like time in New Jersey, you're getting cursed out.
That like I'll admit to the public, I'm not the greatest driver as far as like driving fast. Like I could be a little bit of a grandma driver. So I get honked at all the fucking time by people who are like, bitch, get out of my fucking way.
Are you in the pass lane?
Yeah. I don't drive to the far left. No, I don't drive in the left lane, but like I can just be a little bit of an airhead. Like if I'm trying to figure out where to turn type of thing. Like if I'm like, shit, where do I turn? Like I get people honking at me, yelling at me all the time.
I'm pretty forgiving on that. But if you're in the left lane, I'm pissed.
No, but like living in New Jersey, that part I see is like, that's where all the bulk of the anger from the people in New Jersey is. It's like, if you're fucking taking your time to make a turn, like they will flip you off. Like you are garbage to them. They don't give a shit like what your race is, what your ethnicity is, if you're hot, if you're ugly. If you're wasting their time on the road, like they will fucking hate your guts. But besides that, like everyone's pretty like decent.
And again, like there's like pockets of like places where in New Jersey where you'll find like heavy racism, or you'll find like heavy sexism, homophobia, transphobia. Like you'll find like all the obviousness and all that stuff. But they know they're outnumbered in that area. You know what I mean? Like even though they're in that pocket, like they still, but there's parts of the United States where like there's just, it's like a red state for miles and miles and miles and miles. Like Alabama's a big state. Like when I was down there, I was like, holy shit, like this is most of the surface area of the country is like this.
That makes a lot of sense then, because it's like,
so when you're like around that and your idea of being challenged for like far and wide, like there's like obviously like little like hubs, like, you know, like, okay, so you go to a town like Austin.
Yeah.
That's like the southern version of like a town like Jackson, New Jersey. You know what I mean? Like Jackson, New Jersey is like a Republican place in the Northeast. Yeah. Yeah. Like there's like these little like Republican outposts, just like there's like these little liberal hubs in the South, you know?
Yeah.
Austin, like any of the big cities down south, you know.
I was thinking of living in Austin a couple years ago, and I got a lot of people that were like, how could you do that? It's Texas. I'm like, you don't understand. Like I visited Austin and there was Bernie Sanders signs like everywhere. It's not like it kind of pissed me off, to be honest, like when people were giving me that, because it was like, I'm not there to like rally for Trump. Like I'm going to and not only that, but actually when you think about it, if you actually were that like so dedicated to politics that the idea of Texas being Republican like made you angry, wouldn't it make more sense to populate it with more liberal people so it's not like, you know what I mean? So like, anyways, just like a side note, but like that would tick me off when people would like criticize my idea to go there. And I'm just like, fuck you. Like, first of all, let me do what I want. It's not your life, not your business. But second of all, your like logic doesn't even make any sense, because it's like, if you're so worried about it, like it kind of makes more sense that more liberals populate it, you know?
I actually had an idea for a short story, or maybe a long form story. It's like called Operation Eiffel Tower, and it was like based in like a future where like the red states, like in the middle of the country, formulated a conspiracy to accelerate global warming so that it would flood and kill everybody on the coastal liberal cities. And then the coastal liberal cities found out and formed Operation Eiffel Tower, where they like, you know, they like pushed into the middle, and like it was like a giant civil war between like the East and West Coast versus the Midwest, basically. So I didn't get far past like pre-writing on that one. I was like,
that does sound like based on stuff I've heard you talk about in the past about like some of your creative ideas, that sounds like something you would come up with. I like it. I
just think it'd be funny if they tried to like, if some dude was like doing like donuts with his like diesel truck in a parking lot, being like, yeah, this will drown those liberals, and then I'll have like beachfront property or something, like, you know what I mean?
Imagine if like for real,
it's a win-win for them.
Imagine if for real, like if something like Alabama, like imagine if liberals started moving in there and like, I don't even know if you would call it gentrifying, but like imagine if liberals started moving in there and quote unquote gentrifying the area and putting like Starbucks.
I mean, there's liberal hubs in Alabama. I was in one, Huntsville. Wow. It's like half liberal, half conservative. It's like this weird like little it started out as like a rocket town. It's like Rocket Town, USA, where NASA did a lot of its original research.
Weird.
And it like has like that pseudo intellectual, like there's an art museum, there's a performing arts center, like there's like this beautiful downtown, and like there's all these like microbrewery. It's like this, it's like a little Austin, you know, situation. And it's in hell, but that's like Jackson, New Jersey. That's like, that's like the liberal place. Like if you're a liberal, you either live there or you're gonna blow your brains out. You know what I mean? Like,
I think one day I want to visit a wildly different state just to see, like with my own eyes, what you're talking about, because I've never experienced anything like that.
Just drive down to Alabama. I'm telling you,
I don't know if I could drive, but plane.
It's not a terrible drive, and you do get to see a lot of like pretty. Like you drive mostly by Shenandoah. It's not a bad drive.
I think it would be just like a learning experience, just to like gain perspective on what it's actually like. You know,
it was so weird. I'll tell you that. I mean, like you go to like a Publix, and everybody's like, people were crazy nice, though. I will say that. But like I went to Publix, which is like, but I'm like a white dude, you know what I mean? I'm like a straight white guy. So like my experience with the South was like, yeah, people were so nice. Yeah, I went to like a Publix, and like I'm from like the mid-Atlantic Northeast situation as well. So like I'm wearing like the girl I was dating at the time, she had family down there, and they got me like like an Auburn t-shirt for the college down there. And I didn't know about like, because I like pro sports. I don't really pay attention to college sports like that. So this woman at Publix, which is like a really nice grocery store, apparently they take care of their employees, so everybody's happy all the time and like whatever. So I'm like walking through there, and this chick goes, "War Eagle," and I was like, "What did you just like?" My reaction was literally like, "What did you just say to me?" Like, because I thought like, I'm like, why would you just talk to me like that? Like, what did you like? And it had something to do with I had no idea.
Like, I think if I was out like that, I would be so afraid
to mascots for the college.
I think I would be so afraid to say anything to anybody, like as a single woman. Like I would, like if I was traveling by myself as a woman, I'd just be like, yeah, like go, like whatever you said, sure.
I was like, what? Yeah, that's what I'm like. It's a little different for like even when I'm on the subway here, like it's a little different of a situation for me up here as opposed to like I look around sometimes. I'm like, how are you not scared? Like I'm like,
yeah.
I look at these nerds like on my fucking train in the morning. I'm like, I would be fucking frightened to be down here. I've seen some shit on the subways down here. I'd be like if
I have
like
heard that before.
Like a knife on them at all times, like I'd be shook.
I've heard that the subway got worse in New York. I have heard that.
It's about the same as I remember when I was like a kid, I guess, like coming up here like every once in a while with family and stuff like that.
Because see, that's the thing. I've ridden the subway when I was younger too, and I never felt any kind of fear. I always thought it was like, oh yeah, those are the weird New York people. Like that's how I always looked at it. And I've heard that it's gotten worse like post pandemic, but I mean,
it keep getting worse. It probably will. I think crime's just going to go crazy because I genuinely have thought ever since the pandemic that like I thought the economy was going to be worse than it is now, but I think it's still coming. Like I still think the economy's gonna, and I don't think it might have that much to do with the pandemic. I mean, like AI right now is the worst it'll ever be, Like, and I kind of joked about it with people like on my podcast originally. And I was like, hey, fuck you. If like, if like you had an office job and you were like laid off during the pandemic and you got all that money, because I had to work during the pandemic, like with my hands and shit. I was like, they're going to replace you with a robot by 2030. You know what I mean? And now there's articles coming out from the Atlantic, like, like computer science jobs aren't the safe jobs to have anymore. Like they're all getting replaced with AI. These sales jobs are all getting replaced with AI. Like what happens to the economy when everybody loses their job to fucking computers and shit? Like what happens? Like, is there a plan for that? Like our government just doesn't like, it's not as competent as like people think, like they just don't plan for things. There's no like regulation on that. So I just don't know what's going to happen. Like if AI is the worst that it'll ever be today, then what's it going to be like in 5 years? If it just keeps getting smarter, keeps getting better, keeps getting more competent.
When you say it's the worst it'll ever be, meaning it's not as intelligent as it could be. That's what you mean?
Meaning that it grows every day.
Gotcha.
That's what it's designed to do.
I actually have noticed that myself because there's certain things that I'm like, am I being ungrateful? But some of it, like I still have trouble getting Wi-Fi sometimes. Like, am I being ungrateful? But I feel like this must be like the beginning, like the shitty like this must be like that. Remember we used to have to like plug Wi-Fi, used to have like plug in that cord in the phone. Yeah, the dial-up. I'm like right now, like we're still in like we really kind of are still in the dial-up phase because like I still have like trouble getting Wi-Fi. Like I still have like glitches and issues. And I'm like, there's no way that this is like the best.
That's because they just rolled out 5G. That's because it's 5G and like they just came out with that and all that. But yeah, it's going to keep getting better. Like these things are going to keep getting like living in the city. I'm already like seeing it, like how it's like that's happening. And the migrant crisis is very real up here. I mean, I watched them. We had that giant storm on like 2 Fridays ago, and like everything was flooded and shit and crazy. And they kicked migrants out of a shelter that day.
Oh my God.
Like, it's fucking a state of emergency. You couldn't have like just not done that for like a day. And like, I get it. If you want secure borders, fine. I understand the need for secure borders, but if they're already here, they're already here.
Be like a human being, Yeah,
they're human. They're human beings. And honestly, our government destabilized their government a long time ago. Like, that's just it. Like, we did it. Like, I'm sorry, but like the United States government and the Central Intelligence Agency and all the intelligence agencies, they destabilized South and Central America terribly for their drugs and their other resources. And now those people want to get the fuck out of there because it's like corrupt governments that we put into power years ago and gangs who work with those corrupt governments for the drug trade that we enable. it's like, yeah, they're most of them just want to work. Like the only reason to secure borders is for like terrorists. I mean, you need like an immigrant labor force anyway for any type of growing country.
Yeah.
I don't know. People just don't read, they don't think.
That like hearing you say all that makes me feel so much more grateful for the life I have, because
Oh yeah.
I have some issues, you know what I mean? Like I have financial setbacks and things like that. But I would say overall on a day-to-day basis, like I have a pretty good life. Like I have a safe life. I have good food. You know what I mean? I feel kind of like I should be more.
System of some sort. Sure.
What's that?
Support system. You have like some sort of support system in your life, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's gotten better over the years. Like there was a couple years ago I was pretty isolated, I would say, but I would say like as I get older and learn how to build my own support system, it's gotten so much better, you know?
Yeah, these people have like less than nothing. Like, and then I'll live in a city where people are still ungrateful with like all the money that they make.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the perspective of somebody who's been like personally homeless. So like, it's good that you have that perspective just hearing about it. Cause like I see it on a daily basis and I'm like, man, God, like I'm like one bad day away from that being my life again, you know?
I've never had like homelessness, but I've had bad credit. I've had being denied things. Like I've had those types of things. Like
I understand a struggle. Yeah.
But even that is so much better. Even being an American with bad credit is better than
walking hundreds of miles through a jungle, to go through a desert, to go through a border,
with
a bunch of bigots that don't want you, to a city that can barely take care of you, to the streets of the most expensive place to live in the United States.
Yes.
Like that's a crazy tumble to go through.
Like I could still get a Starbucks coffee like with bad credit. You know what I mean? Like I still live in like a safe place. You know what I mean? Like I still
change in my apartment. Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's like crazy that you're saying that. Like,
yeah, but it's good that you have that perspective, and it's good that you didn't want to do a serious episode this episode, because
it's funny. So I got through some. I'm actually going to wrap it up soon because I've had a very long day. So I'm probably going to wrap it up.
Give me a couple more funny questions real quick. I'll answer them real quick.
We'll finish on one funny question because I do want to wrap it up. But I was going to say I barely got through the questions because I enjoyed our natural conversation. I feel like we don't need questions because our natural conversations are usually good. But I'll end on one funny question to end the podcast on a positive note.
Mm-hmm.
What is your most shameful, gluttonous meal? Your shameful, gluttonous, fat go-to food that you eat and you gorge when no one's looking? Because we talked about how you do it.
Now or of all time?
I guess right now in your current state, like, are you a Big Mac? Like, what's your gluttonous go-to?
No, I'm not a big fast food guy. When I'm like feeling a little, what I call bad, when I'm like
bad, like
whoever I'm living with, I'm like, yeah, I'll be a little bad tonight, you know? And like I'm gonna go into my little corner, I'm gonna eat. Definitely when I was in New Jersey, I would like my guilty pleasure would be Papa John's, which I know is a sin living in like New Jersey or New York, but like when I was living in New Jersey, the local Papa John's was not bad, and it was significantly cheaper than like a lot of the pizzerias. But up here, there's a place called Paulie G's, and it's the best pizza I've ever had in my fucking life. They have like a Hellboy pizza, and it's a square. You can get like a square or a New York style. The New York style is good, but the square is insane. It's the best crust I've ever had in my life. And then it's like layer of cheese, sauce, like small like pepperonis, another like little layer of cheese on top, and then they put hot honey on the top of it, and it's called the Hellboy pie. It is so good. And then I put red crushed pepper on top of it, or I do like I have like a ghost pepper seasoning because I like spicy food. But I'll do that, and it doesn't end there. And then like I'll do it like I'm gonna try and start doing it like I was doing it like every week for a while, because it was like a little like Thursday ritual where I would get like a couple of those because it's a slice shop. You can just get like those and slice. You don't have to get a full fucking pie. But I'll get that, and then I'll get like some type of like chip or like a Cheetos cheese curl situation, and I'll eat that, and then I'll have like the Ben and Jerry's has like these new like things called Ben and Jerry's Topped. Have you seen Ben and Jerry's Topped?
No.
Oh my God, they have the ice cream, the great ice cream, and then at the top is like half an inch of like a ganache like topping. Like it's like the ones that I like are like the mint chocolate, the dirt cake. You ever had dirt cake with the gummy worms on top of it when you were a kid?
Yeah.
They have an ice cream for that now with like the top on. It's so good. But my favorite one's the raspberry cheesecake one. And it's got like a cheesecake like graham cracker crust on top with a cheesecake icing and like a raspberry swirl inside. Oh my God, it's so good. So I'll get those three things and I'll eat like if I get a pie, I'll eat like 2 to 3 slices, and then I'll eat like half the bag of cheese curls, and then I'll eat like half of the ice cream, and then I'll do the same thing the next day.
That's actually, to me, the pizza you said, to me, that's actually
6 slices. I mean, this is a lot of food.
But regardless, I feel like because it's not like a fast food thing, it's like a fresh bakery pizza. To me, it's like, it sounds like a classy gluttonous food. It doesn't sound like a trashy one. It's like a classy.
I don't enjoy fast food like I used to.
Yeah.
Like unless it's like I'm just not getting it up here. It's not like it is not good. Like I got McDonald's once up here. It was bad.
Really?
So like I live in Brooklyn. I mean, I'm sure the one in Manhattan's nice or whatever. I'm sure there's but my McDonald's like has a security guard and an ATM inside of it. Like,
yeah, that's sketchy.
There's drug deals going down in there. Like I'm like, I don't know, but yeah, episode 99. Thanks for Who's 100? You didn't make me 100. Has anybody else been on 3 times?
You couldn't get 100 because you're awesome, but just not good enough. No, I'm just kidding.
Joe Rogan's 100, right?
No, I actually don't have anybody lined up for 100. I might just do a solo one, and just honor myself. I don't have anybody
you gotta reach out to somebody and just use it as like a catalyst to get that next level of get an actual comedian on here instead of me.
I've had a few really good.
I've seen that. You've had a cool MMA fighter. You had some good New York comics on here. That was cool.
Yeah. But I don't know if I could get anybody in time because it's going to come out next week. I don't know if I can get anybody in time for next week, but I'll try. I'll try to pitch an idea.
You should just hit somebody up and just be like, listen, it's my 100th episode. I'm trying to do something special. You want to be a piece of shit or not? I think if for some reason I can't find anybody like that for the 100th, I'll probably just do a solo one where I kind of review the year, almost like a New Year's type of this is the 100th episode. What are we doing? Like a check-in. I had on the most amount of times. Is it me?
No one's ever gone to 4, but you're one of the people that I've had. Albert Davis do 3. I've had
funny guy.
I've had Ricky Ramesses do 3. I had you do 3. I think you guys are the only ones who did 3. You,
tall, funny, handsome, and black. You have a type. All 3 of us. All right. 3 of us.
So I'm going to wrap it up there. I've had a very long day today. Okay. This is Pranzata Podcast, episode number 99. A reminder to the listeners, if you enjoyed what you heard today, please don't forget to hit subscribe. It is my mission to get this channel monetized, not to be a greedy bastard, but to actually make a sustainable living off this because I love doing this and it would be awesome. It would be the dream. So please support me by hitting subscribe. Also, don't forget to comment on anything we talked about throughout the episode. I want to interact with you guys and have this be a community here, and I want to hear your input about anything we talked about today. Any of the silly stuff, the sex stuff, the political stuff, whatever. I want to hear what your opinions are. And as far as Sean McCracken goes, I'm going to insert a link below to his podcast so you could check him out. Any last words for the listeners?
Check out Sean McDonough on Instagram. I'll be his comedy writer one day, co-writer with him. Yeah, that's about it. And listen, like she said before, subscribe to her podcast. What you see is what you get here. This is the person that I've always met and known off camera and talked to like, it's so easy to talk to her on her podcast because it is just her. So yeah, I think you should absolutely subscribe to this way before you should subscribe to my podcast.
No, his podcast is good. Also, listeners, I want to upgrade my equipment. I want like better cameras. Like I want to give you guys a better quality product. So that's another reason why subscribing and sharing. If you're already a listener,
fans suck.
What's that?
My fans suck.
They don't share.
I hate my fans so much.
I get like
DM like, "Where's my episode?" And I'm like, "Do you share this with anybody?" Like,
yeah, no, listeners, if you enjoy the episode and you look forward to it every week and you want a better quality product, please do your part by sharing this so the word could get spread around, because I'm not doing some weird Andrew Tate shit. Like I'm doing some real heart-to-heart human shit here, and that's not the stuff that gets in the algorithm.
Sorry, she's not backed by the CIA like Andrew Tate.
All right, that's it. Pranzata Podcast. Apologies for all the interrupting I did. I think there's like a slight delay because of Zoom.
I do the same thing. It's okay. I'm bad at it. On my podcast, remember we do the headphones? Yeah. So when I don't have headphones in, I think I was interrupting you actually.
Maybe we were actually just genuinely interrupting each other and it had nothing to do with the delay.
It was bad.
Whatever. All right, that's it. Pranzata Podcast, episode 99. Have a good night, guys. Bye.
Bye.